Hey everybody, AJ Morris here from iThemes again, and we're going to be covering GhostKit in today's Gutenberg block collection plugin review. We actually did a review on GhostKit previously by another colleague here. This is just an update and providing my own thoughts as I've really been diving deep into using Gutenberg both for myself and for clients. So with that, I apologize for not having this up last week. As you may know, COVID-19 definitely is something that we're all aware of and thinking about, and as we think through and really begin to understand what our lives are like, obviously I missed a week on that, so no problem, because I'm actually going to do two different videos and combine them into one blog post today. So if you are following along, you're really liking these, make sure you head over to YouTube, click the like and subscribe to our channel. Get all the notifications that you can over at YouTube when we're posting new videos. And if you're visiting, watching this over on YouTube, head over to the blog post. The link should be in the description. Really love to hear your comments, your thoughts about GhostKit and the second plugin that we'll be covering in a separate video. So with all of that, I think I've covered everything kind of on my list here I wanted to touch on. So let's go ahead and talk about GhostKit. So GhostKit is one of my favorite plugins that's really growing on me, and I haven't pushed the trigger on getting a pro version just yet. I'll touch on that in a little bit. But what GhostKit is really aligned to do is not only provide you with Gutenberg blocks, but with the ability to have templates. And the idea of having templates in the world of Gutenberg or the new WordPress block editor is really to be able to help you streamline some of your content creation. So by using a template, or even setting up a template, you can enable yourself or your client to just kind of fill in the blanks around that template. So we'll be taking a look at templates and how GhostKit handles those momentarily. But let's take a look at the block side of GhostKit and really kind of talk about what GhostKit comes with. So GhostKit, once it's installed, you'll see GhostKit over here on the left-hand side of the screen. So on your menu here, you'll have blocks, icons, typography, fonts, CSS and JavaScript, all these tabs right here. You have the option to go Pro, which will at least show you, what the pricing option is and all of that. I'll go ahead and go back though. And then you have templates. We'll talk about templates a little bit later on. So blocks, once you're on this blocks page, you will see all of your GhostKit blocks. So you have a grid, progress, buttons, divider, shape divider, alert, icon box, countdown, number box, accordion, tabs, video, carousel, pricing table, testimonial, table of contents, Twitter, Instagram, Google Maps, GitHub, gist, changelog, widgetized area, and a form. So there's 23 blocks in total that GhostKit comes with. You can, on this page, enable or disable ones that you aren't wanting to use or load. And what's interesting is that you can even go into, say, the common blocks that come built into WordPress as part of the WordPress block editor. You can disable some of those. You can go into formatting and see the ones that are there. Layout elements as well. So again, these are more of the core blocks that are coming built in with the WordPress block editor. Your widgets, it's going to show you all the widgets that you have. You can disable or enable those. Embeds, and then if you have any reusable blocks, they'll show up down here. So GhostKit really allows you, even at the free version, to really kind of customize that experience of the WordPress block editor for you. You can enable, disable all sorts of blocks to really show, that a client or someone like that, maybe that doesn't need to have everything, they just need a few things. You can limit what blocks are available to them. Really like this feature. You could pair this with a simple membership plugin. For example, the members plugin that's free. It was created by Justin Tadlock, owned by, I believe, MemberPress now. But that type of a plugin, or even the advanced account manager, or advanced access manager. Either one of those, advanced access manager or members, will give you the ability to kind of lock down GhostKit pages to either yourself or a separate role within WordPress. So that way you can give your client access to things, but maybe hold back on access to GhostKit. So I would pair these two together if I was doing this site for a client, and they're able to see everything that they need to see, but also I can decide what blocks I should show them and what I don't want to show them. So that's the blocks tab. On the icons tab, you have the option to use the GhostKit icons and Font Awesome. So you can, they're both enabled by default, but you can just click these little radio buttons and deactivate them as you see fit. Typography, it's going to take a few seconds to load, but you're going to have the option for body, buttons, and headings. What I like about this, if you can go to show advanced, you can even go into headings a little further and do your H1 all the way to H6. This pretty much gives you all of the typography, font choices you're going to want. Let me hide advanced for a second, and let's just look at body. So you can use Google Fonts by default for free. So if you click the drop down arrow here, you're going to see a whole bunch of Google Fonts. These all are getting loaded. You can select which one you want. Do a Google search based on Google font choices for body and headlines. You'll get a ton of results to really kind of figure out what do you want for your body, what do you want for your headings. The Pro version, it does show you can use Adobe fonts, aka Typekit. So if you have a client or yourself, maybe you really like something over at Adobe Fonts that you would like to use, going that Pro version would give you the Adobe Fonts option in here. So once you select something, I'm going to choose Lato because that's a common body font that I use. I'll use regular, but you could choose whichever option for font weight that makes sense for you. You can then choose, let me show you the little hover here. This is the font size. So you could say 2 EMs, or you could go to pixels even. So you could do typical body for me these days is 16 or 18 pixels. So that's your font size. Right here is your line height. So I might do like a 1.1 EM, and letter spacing is likely a 0. So we'll leave it at that. That is now my body. My buttons, probably going to use the same default site font, but I might also just say, hey, I might use Lato. So just leave it at that, and then leave the buttons, the rest of the settings, the default, or just kind of blank here. Then what I would do is for headings, I might choose something like Montserrat. So Montserrat is one that I like. I might use regular. Let's see, this is line height. I might say 2 EMs. If I'm going to really go in, I'm going to probably do an advanced option and go select the actual H1 and H2 at least. I might do at least a H3 as well. So I will do those. Go ahead and move on from there. Now what's interesting to me is there's no save button. So I don't know if I'm going in here into typography, making these settings, and if I move away, do they get saved? We're about to find out. So I go to fonts. I see Adobe Fonts is available for Pro users only, and get the Pro plugin. So let's go back to typography, and you'll notice it saved it. So I think we're good in the fact that GhostKit's saving the typography settings here. We'll see what they look like in the blocks when we build out a page. The last section is just CSS and JavaScript. This allows you to put any type of custom CSS or custom JavaScript in either the head or the footer section. So something like adding Google Analytics or Tag Manager, something like that, you could throw in here as well. One thing that kind of strikes me odd that's the example that they use for JavaScript is that doesn't seem like something I would include in a block collection plugin. That seems like something I'd include in my theme, or even a separate plugin like a headers and footer scripts plugin or something. So I'm not sure why they went this direction. I don't know if that's something that they intended to do, or if it was just kind of we built this in for testing, let's just leave it in at this point. Either way, you can use it as is. I'm kind of in the camp of CSS is going to go in my theme, or even in a custom utility plugin that I would build. Same thing with JavaScript, that's going to go in the head and the foot. These areas, these text boxes, are going to go into the database, and I don't want to call. Well, at least I believe. I guess I should let me back up a second. I believe that when you see forms like this, these are going to be saved to the database, and the plugin is calling this content out of the database to render out the page. I don't want it to do that. I want it to be fast and more performant. And so for me, I'm not going to use anything in here. I will create my own utility plugin that would load a custom CSS file or custom JavaScript file, depending on what my needs are for that site. So this tab, I wouldn't really recommend using it, just for those types of reasons. I would have to dig in and really kind of test these out to know what happens. Do these get saved to the database? Do they get saved to a file and are called on every page? Are they not called on every page? What does all that mean? From a performance standpoint, is likely not gonna show us that it's very performant, because if I include a CSS change in here, it might only be for a specific block on a specific page. I don't need all of those bytes loading on every single page of my site. So I'm going to nix this out and just say this tab is a bad idea. Don't use it. Developers of GhostKit, feel free to call me out, explain the reasoning of why I might need to use these things, and you could try to change my mind. But this area is, to me, is dead. So big fat cross out here. All right, so that's the GhostKit menu and tab structure here, kind of giving you the back of the WP admin side of what's going on with GhostKit. Like I said, there's templates here as well. We're going to ignore that for now and come back to those in a little bit. But let's build out a page using GhostKit plugin blocks. Now, one thing you'll note, and one thing you might remember, is that I use Gutenberg natively as part of my testing and as part of my everyday thing. I want the latest and greatest of Gutenberg on a Gutenberg site, and so if I'm using Gutenberg for a site, Gutenberg is also going to be installed so that I get the very latest version. In that version, and at the time of this post or this video, WordPress 5.4 has yet to be released. So you're going to notice two things about this video. One is you're going to notice this welcome to the block editor. This is a little onboarding thing for the first time you're using the block editor. It's going to walk you through, hey, this is the WordPress block editor. Each paragraph, image, video is presented as a distinct block of content. You can make your own. Each block you can make your own. You've got certain controls, etc., etc. Hey, go get to know the block library, see what's all available. And then if you want to learn more about using the block editor, here's a detailed guide. And that's going to send you off to this like WordPress block editor page. Hopefully they change the videos and stuff by the time this is actually released, because one thing you'll notice is the Gutenberg UI has changed from the previous video. So two things to note here really quick. With WordPress 5.4, you are going to see the default is this full screen Gutenberg view. You have no black menu over here, or whatever dark menu you are using. This goes away when you create and are in to editing a new page. There's ways to get around that if you don't want it. I'm actually kind of a fan of it though, because I don't need it. It gives me extra space, especially on my iPad, to be able to work on the content side of things. The second thing you're going to note is there's a change when you add blocks. So let me just add a block here a second. We'll just type hello world. And when you hover over, you're going to see this new like flat, I don't know, this is a Gutenberg thing, and it kind of drives me nuts that they're now changing this. I get why they're changing it if you go and look at it. But it is something that is a little bit of a change. So one thing that I struggle with is being able to add another block after this. There used to be a little like circle with a box with a little plus sign that was like this. I now have to go up here and do paragraph to add another. This is something that just happens every once in a while. So I'm giving you. I'm really kind of giving you a little tutorial or a little lesson on the latest Gutenberg. I apologize for that, but what I wanted to get at is that once you have multiple blocks on here, you'll get the ability to drag your blocks around or move them around. This interaction to me does not work right. As you can see, I'm trying to get another paragraph above hello world, and it just, you have to hit certain places for it to be to work all the time, right? And you get that little blue bar. Then they'll move. If you also remember, I'm typically a fan of the top bar, so I live with that top bar up here, so it allows me to just kind of click through. If I need to move them around, I see that up here. Not a big deal, but it is a few difference in the Gutenberg or the WordPress block editor UI and really the user experience, the interactions that you're going to see. So I am used to them now, as I have a couple of sites that are getting these updates regularly, and I'm building with it regularly. So I'm familiar with it, but just be aware that is a change that's in the middle of the process of being rolled out. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and delete these two blocks, and we can start back from square one. We're going to call this GhostKit page I'll go ahead and add a new block, and I'm going to go to GhostKit and just do what I typically do, which is start with a grid. So we'll pick out a grid here, and you'll see this is very similar user experience to other grid blocks in the WordPress block collection ecosystem. You've got your block data over here, but you'll notice that you have this little template. And this template is really cool because GhostKit is bringing in a number of templates, either in blocks or pages for you. Pages are still yet to be coming soon. I'm not sure if that's a pro feature or not, as I don't have the pro version, so maybe these are available in pro already. But either way, we can create some really good looking pages with their block templates. So here's the hero one. We'll just add that in. I'm going to choose to have this go full width. Looks like my font is a little messy, so let's try to clean that up. There we go. Let's see if we can fix this a little bit here. Alright, so padding, I thought padding would help fix that. I am in a paragraph, and I can see my size, but I can't see the yeah, I can't see the line height. So let's just see if this preset size kind of helps. Then it doesn't really help, and there's no typography setting in the GhostKit block themselves apparently. So let me go ahead and publish this and just see if this works. It might have been my settings. Okay, so it looks like it's working here, but doesn't work here. So not sure what's going on. I'm going to assume it's something potentially even with the default 2020 theme, which you'll remember I use the default 2020 theme. I change the background so it's all white, and I get rid of that burgundy-ish red color for my primary color and use a blue. So those are some subtle differences with it. But moving into GhostKit, this looks pretty good. You know, I like the ability to have a pre-built template. I think that helps you know, anybody really get to you know, kind of a starting point pretty quick. I am curious if I can move this text over to the middle, and when I'm in the grid, it looks like I've got vertical alignment options, and I also have horizontal options. This is only one column though, so I'm not sure I can get it into the center that way. Alright, so it doesn't look like I can do that. I can add some new text though. Let's update that. I'm not seeing an option in the there we go. What about this? So now I'm in a column, and I can call it sticky content. That's kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and update this and view the page. So heading is still over here. It's not over here. Now what's also interesting is that this font as a paragraph is not what I set. It's called non-breaking space override, which is my theme. So even though I set Lato, which you can see is right here, it is not using that. It is using the theme font choices. So just something to watch out for, even though you do set typography settings in GhostKit, apparently it still will take on theme settings. So it looks like it's loading Lato or Lato back here, but not on the front. So once I am in this text though, you'll see my menu bar up here changes. I can get it over here into the center. That's really nice. If I go out here to the grid, the last thing that I would want to do, you see I've got padding. I might just want to say 200 and 200. That gives me a little bit more space in the padding of this row. I'll go ahead and view the page, and you can see that's here now. So that's a good way to do that. Now, if I wanted to add another, like a button under here, I wonder if it'll let me do that. I'm going to do a GhostKit button, and it looks like it does let me add a button, and I can align it to the center, so that's good. I can add another button. I don't want to add another button yet, so we'll do that. That does not look centered 100% to me. At least it doesn't look like it is right there, but once I kind of move it, it goes away. So you can add your URL here. You can, looks like you can change some colors over here. All of this is kind of common stuff. That looks kind of cool. Text is there. You've got spacing. What I like about this is you have all devices. You have the ability to say screens with greater than or equal to 1200 pixels. You can go into your laptop, your tablet, or your mobile device. So you can change all your spacing here. You can also choose whether to display this block depending on what device you're using. So, for example, if you are on a tablet, maybe you want to hide this, you could. And let's go ahead and view the page. And I'm gonna do a little trickery here. Just bring this tab out and shrink it on down. It's still showing, even though I said, oh, hide is actually at the laptop view. So let's see if we can't get it to disappear. And maybe I need to look at what device with screen width of less than 992. So this is less than 992, and it's still showing. My guess is because it's showing because I'm on a actual computer. We go to mobile though. Let's see if it doesn't move. It doesn't hide in mobile either. So we can try to fake it out, I think, by getting it into let's see if iPhone X. Yeah, it's still showing it. So I'd probably have to send this off over to my device to see if this is actually going to work, because I do have it set to hide on mobile. Oh, you know what? Huh. I just realized it is the button. The button was set to hide on mobile, and the button did hide on mobile. Let's now that I'm back on the grid, let's say I want to hide the grid on mobile. And if we shrink it down, you can see it's hidden. So a great way to show content depending on what device size or screen size you're using. You can have multiple blocks to be able to do that. Great feature there. Let's keep going. I don't want to make this too long. but I do want to show you just a few more things. So in the grid, you have the ability to kind of just go in and add, your own text. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and add a grid again. Go back to their template. We can build out a landing page pretty easily. Here's, go back to full width, or even if you wanted to do wide width. Let's add another grid item. Go to their template. Maybe we like this team option. I like that team option. I like the wide width on that. That's pretty cool. Grid again. Select another template. You've got some FAQs. There's some call to action. So here's kind of a cool call to action. I want to change this CTA a second. So let's get to. Looks like it's this didn't actually end up in a grid, so we're gonna have to build our own to show you what I want. So we'll do that. This is where the top bar does not come in, is when you want to drag these in to a I'm going to drag them in. Alright, so I don't know that it's in, so let's check it. Alright, so it's in there. What I wanted to do is get into this column, go wide, go centered, but let's check out the framing options. So I could put a big old frame around it. This is kind of a nice option. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to change the border to something like a hot red. Maybe I'm going to add a shadow of like a pink. So you can see it right over there. Let me show you so you can see right there's what it would look like. If you wanted radius, that you could do that as well. I actually don't like the shadow options. We're going to leave that, but I'm going to update and view the page. Show you what this is coming out like. So you've got your header, you've got a button, you've got kind of 3 features, and you can see a little light box around it, so you could tweak and style this a little bit more. You've got your 3 photos of Steve, Marcia, and Sophie, the team members. You got this little box that you're calling out, bright red, so it's really kind of attracting your eyes. Throw a button, or even include like a form of some sort. You could really increase your sales there, right? So you've got all sorts of options to do. And this, you can keep going, right? You can go back in, create another grid item, grid block. You could do it yourself. You could, if I get out to the block, add a grid and go to the template. You've got a few other options to choose from. Maybe you want a pricing grid. You've got this pricing grid now. Let's go wide width, give it a little bit more room. That's all looking good. You've got a footer on the page, so that's all fine and dandy. You've just built a page in like 15 minutes, right? All you got to do is come in, change the text, and do those types of things. Now, what I would do is I want to talk about the templates. So back out here into the WordPress dashboard, I'm going to go to templates. You'll see I've got no templates, but if you go to add new, it's going to load the Gutenberg or the WordPress block editor, and you call this blog template. and you can start putting in blocks in here. So maybe you want to include a paragraph block. One I really like, especially for long posts, is like a table of contents block. So, ooh, I think I just broke it. That's cool, right? So let's try creating a table of contents first. So here's that table of contents. You're going to show what headers do you allow. It's automatically going to go work in here. So now all we have to do is start doing headers. So let's do an H2. And you'll see your table of contents is popping in, right? Story, H2, heading. Right, so you've got maybe just 4. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. This is, again, just that template, right? But the idea is that if I am handing this over to a client, or maybe I'm a content marketing consultant, or maybe I'm just the content marketer in my business, I can create a template in here and have everybody use this. So now, if I go back home and I go over here to my posts, go to add new, you'll see I've got this add template. When I click on that and I go into my templates, I'll see this blog template, and there you go. Now I can give it my blog post title up here. I've got that table of contents. I can go in and say, this thing once happened to me. And it's going to change your table of contents. You want to put in a paragraph in here. Right, so you've got your paragraphs. Maybe you want to add an image in here, right? You can do all your post work, but what you've just built is a template to have everybody start with. That way you've got your table of contents. Maybe you've got a call to action that you need somewhere in here. It's a really cool feature to me to be able to see this. I can create templates for my client. My client is stuck on where they go. They just go in here to my templates. They'll see all of your templates right here. You just select which one that you want, and then it gets added in. You can even add them on top of each other. So maybe you have template parts, and those template parts are coming up to build a page or something like that. You can do that as well. So naming your templates is very handy, and obviously allowing people to use the right template is also handy. If I'm ready to get rid of things, actually let me just scroll back up. So I got rid of that second table of contents. You'll see that first one is right here. It filled out all those other headings. What I do want to do is publish this and show you this post a second to show you here's that table of contents, and when you click on it, it's going to drop you down in, right? Go down to another story, going to drop you into another story. Going to go down into story, it's going to drop you in down at the bottom. You finally go to that last wrapping up, it's going to drop you down to the last wrapping up. Really like this feature about a table of contents block, that it just works, right? I never have to worry about it. I dragged it in or included it once, and it's got a few little settings, right? What headings are you allowing? Do you want dots or numbers? Do you want to frame it out? Do you want to boom, do something like that, or not, right? Get rid of it. Do you want to include some spacing options? Do you want it to display on certain things? Do you need to add custom CSS to it? GhostKit allows you to add custom CSS right here. It gives you even an example of what it would look like. so you can see that. And I think that's a very, very cool option for plugins. So, all right. Well, I'm over kind of the timeline I was kind of shooting for. I think I'm approaching probably the longest video of this series at 40 some minutes. I apologize for that. But GhostKit to me is one that I am finding I really like. I like to include some of the blocks for my clients, especially this table of contents. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Post a comment either on the blog post or over on YouTube, wherever you're watching this at, and feel free to let me know. You know, how are these coming off to you? Are you liking these types of videos? Are you not liking them? Happy to tailor them around to really show you all there is about a specific block collection plugin. So until next time, I'll catch you later. If you're hanging around and going to watch the next video, feel free to do that as well. We'll be talking about another block collection plugin. Thanks.